Today we're going to be talking about the Lenovo Legion Go S, a handheld PC here that right now fits in a very interesting range with the Xbox ROG Ally coming out and then the Lenovo Legion Go 2 on its way in just a few weeks. The Lenovo Legion Go S is still an option for you, and the version that I have I think is actually a pretty good option for you to take a look at, but we're going to go over everything, the specs, the feel, the screen. How do games perform on this thing? And is this a handheld right now, currently with the pricing of it and where it fits in on the range of different PC handhelds out there? Is this one you're going to want to look into picking up? All right, so welcome guys. This is the Lenovo Legion Go S. There are multiple variants of the Lenovo Legion Go S, but this is the highest end one. This is the one that you're going to want to pick up if you want the best performance. This is a Z1 Extreme version of the Lenovo Legion Go S. As you can see here, it has a terabyte of storage, 32 gigabytes of RAM. The AMD Ryzen is that one Extreme, which is still a very capable, good mobile APU here that plays games very well. It has an 8-inch display here, which goes all the way up to 500 nits, and it has a 1920 by 1200 resolution. You can get multiple resolutions on this, and if you just quickly go into the side here, you can see you can easily switch between all of the different resolutions, but it can go all the way up there to the 1920 by 1200 resolution, which is some of the best screen specs I think I've seen on these handhelds, just in terms of being able to go between all of the different resolutions, and games look good on this screen. It is a nice screen, but we'll talk about that further on. So this is, as I said, the higher end one, and it is coming here in white, and it is running Windows 11, just the base Windows 11, which for a lot of people, especially on the PC handheld front, it is cumbersome to use in terms of an operating system. But luckily, around the corner, we do have the Xbox full screen experience that I've already seen videos. You can install it on this. It will work on the Lenovo Legion Go S. I have to send this thing back to Lenovo, so I can't really go in there and tinker and put that on there right now. But you'll be able to install the Xbox full screen experience on this if you do not want to use Windows 11. So this is the high-end version. We have the D-pads, the sticks, the buttons. You have the different launchers here, because you can get if you click this, it brings you right to the Lenovo Legion software here, where you kind of turns it more into a console experience, but you still have to go into Windows 11 a lot. You have your settings bar. If you hit this top right button, that pops out all of the different things to go through, like changing between performance, balance, quiet, all of your brightness and everything, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. You can choose different functions like vibration. You have all of your quick access system settings if you want to do that, productivity mode. So yeah, a lot of things you can go through here with these quick settings. And then you also have your start and your select buttons. That's what it will be utilized for within games. Right off of the bat, in terms of the layout of the front, I am wishing they would have swapped these two buttons, because whenever I'm playing a game, I always go for the highest one to press start or press select, and I'm always just kind of getting the Lenovo stuff to pop up, but it will always be these bottom ones when you're playing games. You also have front-facing speakers, which is great because you don't have them. A lot of the handhelds or a lot of devices have down facing speakers or down speakers, or maybe in other places. These are great. They come right out of the front, and the games do sound good. You have a touchpad here, which is just kind of if you want to use a mouse, and you can turn vibration on whenever you're moving it around. You can also just click by tapping. Oh, I just opened something up there. And you can push down on it and it will function just like a mouse. It's hard for me to use right now while looking through a camera, but overall, I think this little touchpad, it's fine. It's small. I don't really use it that much, but it does get the job done if you do kind of want to have that mouse functionality, rather than using the buttons to navigate or using other means with Windows 11. So that's the front. You have the top here. You have your volume rockers. You got your headphone jack, 2 USB 4 ports. So they're pretty fast. I think up to 40 gigabits per second. And then on the bottom here, you have an SD card reader. 1 TB comes in this version, but if you want to upgrade the SSD as well, you can just do that. I've seen some teardown videos. It does also probably full length SSDs, so you can get a ton of memory on here if you open it up and do that. So that is kind of the breakdown of the exterior. In terms of the ergonomics, I will say this is easily one of the most comfortable handhelds that I've ever used. I've used the Steam Deck, which is fine. It's comfortable. I don't like the layout of the sticks on the Steam Deck. I've used the Asus ROG Ally, which I find a little bit tiny and not nearly as comfortable as this. But this one, I've played hours on it since I have received it just to try it out and everything. And my hands feel great. It's basically like I'm holding a controller. It's really, really comfortable. You can see that when you get this profile view, the handles do stick out and fit right into your hands. It's nice and beefy. This is a thicker handheld. Like you can see the thickness of it. Also, I forgot to mention one quick thing here, which is probably pretty important. The back itself, you can see the ventilation. You can also see the buttons that are here. It also has trigger lock. So if you want to just play like a FPS or something and have quick triggers, you can do that. It has the slider here and you can lock it in or you can have a full length. But ergonomically, yeah, this is a great device in terms of how it feels. The plastic is nice, has some textures here on the side, as you can see, and it's kind of soft touch. It doesn't really, it's not abrasive at all in your hands. There's nothing that jabs into your hands. It's a phenomenal feeling handheld ergonomically. One of the most important things when you are playing handhelds. You just want to be able to sit there and your hands don't fall asleep, similar to other handhelds like the Nintendo Switch. Hands fall asleep within 20 minutes of using that thing. It won't happen with it. So that is one thing that is great. All right, in terms of the screen, I think the screen is beautiful. It's an IPS screen. It has some great specs, which is the most important thing, in my opinion, with this type of screen. It's an 8-inch display, 120 hertz refresh rate with VRR, and games look great. Yes, it's not OLED. Yes, it doesn't get the deep colors and blacks that you would get with OLED, but overall, for this device, this is a very, very good screen. Probably has some of the best screen specs that you can get by going and being able to switch over between these resolutions, 800 by 1280, 1200 by 1920, 1000 by 600. Kind of what I want to see going forward with most of these 8-inch displays, to have all of that screen spec stuff in it, and it goes up to 500 nits as well. If you're looking to play this in a bright area, you'll be fine. If you're looking to play this in a very dark area, like for example, if you are laying in bed and you want it as low as possible, especially if somebody else is in the bed beside you, it will get very, very dim and it won't distract people and you'll be able to see it. Obviously right now there's lights on in here and it's way too dim to play at this setting, but at night in bed, it's perfect. And then you bring it all the way back up and you can see the screen is a nice screen. It's a nice IPS screen and it gives you that solid VRR and everything. So I have no issues right now with the Lenovo Legion Go S screen. Speakers will be the next thing. I will just start up a game and then we'll listen to the speakers. I think the speakers do sound good as well if you don't have headphones to plug in. Of course, it supports Bluetooth and you can plug in a headphone as well through the jack. But if you're just playing, you're listening to the speakers, this thing gets pretty good.
I saw something up high.
Now, battery life, that is always a huge thing when it does come to these handhelds. And the battery life is very similar to other Z1 Extremes. It varies. It really varies depending on the game that you are playing. There are different modes. There's 3 different modes that you can quickly switch between when you are using this thing. You can go into quiet mode, which is 10 watts, and this is a 55.5 watt battery inside of here. So if you want to save battery, games aren't going to run very good, or at least depending on what you're playing, they aren't going to run nearly as good on quiet mode, but it's 10 watts. 15 watts in balance mode. And then if you go up to performance, it goes up to 30 watts. And you get all the way up to 40 if you go to custom and just kind of tinker with these settings itself. In terms of the overall usage that I've found with these different settings is, I would say, depending on the game, if it's a very demanding game, you're getting 1.5, 2 hours, like very similar to what we have seen. If it's less demanding game, mid-range, around 2 and 2.5 hours. And if it's something like you're using cloud gaming or it's a very light indie game, you probably can get all the way up to about 4 or 5 hours of battery. At least that's what my experience has been on this. So not the best. I mean, it is what it is. This is where the handhelds are currently at. And I would love that be like the major focus going forward for improving on these things. So it doesn't blow battery away. It's not really worse than anything else out there, but depending on the games that you're playing and obviously the mode that you are in, it will affect the amount of battery that you do pull out of this. You're going to want to play, you're going to want to have your charger around. If you're playing for more than 2 hours or more than an hour and a half, depending on the game, you're going to want to have your charger around. Plus, you plug it into a wall and the performance drastically goes up. If you're moving here from quiet to performance mode, like it just changes the way that the game plays. You get a lot more frames per second and everything. Performance wise, of course, there are different performance modes as we talked about with the battery life, and you can switch between them seamlessly, going from quiet to balance to performance. I'm generally always on performance, which is why the battery life drains and why I have a charger with me and everything. This is Final Fantasy 16, and I found, depending on the settings between medium and low, I'm getting around 40 to 50 frames per second. Right now I'm on medium. In combat, it fluctuates between 30 and 40, but if I just put it on low, it'll go between 40 and 50 frames per second in the performance mode. If you drop down to balance, you drop down to quiet, it will be worse than that, of course, but I think it's pretty good in the FPS and the performance that you're going to be getting out of this thing as a mobile gaming PC. Other games like Gears of War Reloaded, which I can hop into and show you, it was running closer to 60 frames per second. You can see here Gears of War Reloaded pushing over 60 frames per second. And of course, this is an older game with the remaster, but it looks great. And you're getting at that 60 FPS. Games like Doom, The Dark Ages were actually getting around 60, which was really, really nice. Cyberpunk around like 40 to 60, depending on your settings and everything. So you can get some great performance out of this thing. You can see going all the way up to there to 80 frames per second. And in terms of where we are with these settings, I believe as of right now, this one here is on medium. So it's on medium. If you go up to high, we can see what this does to itself. It'll push it down a bit, but you're still getting that 60 FPS. So that is some, depending again on the game that you're playing, the performance will vary, but overall the Z1 Extreme is a very good APU, especially if you have it on the highest performance mode and you have it plugged in. You're going to get some great results here. I think it's good. I think this, if you're going for the Lenovo Legion Go S, just ignore the other versions, ignore the Z2 Go versions, and you want to get the Z1 Extreme. And that's kind of where I land on this. Right now, this is an $830 device. And there's so many options out there. There's so many Z1 options out there, Z1 Extreme options. I mean, you can go and probably find a cheaper Z1 Extreme option. You can go find the Lenovo Legion Go, the first version, which has a Z1 Extreme. Yeah, it'll have 16 gigabytes of RAM and not 32 gigabytes. So there are some trade-offs there, and it'll have an 8.8 inch screen. It'll be bigger and bulkier, depending on, I guess, what you're looking on. If you want portability, you want screen size, that's all your choice. $830 is where this one does land. Puts it in a very interesting spot because they do have the other versions with the Z2 Go, which are around $650, or I believe goes all the way up to like $730 for one of the versions of it. Those, I would just, there's no point in getting those ones when you have this version here for it. So if you are looking for one, I think it is a very good handheld. It's just you have to determine for yourself if the price to value ratio is there. Of course, there are many competing things coming out on the market. You have the Z2 Extremes that are coming out with like the Xbox ROG Ally for $1,000. If for $170 more, you can go get that one. But if you are looking for a very good feeling, good performing handheld, the Lenovo Legion Go S Windows Edition, or even the Steam OS Edition, which has a Z1 Extreme, I would say are very, very good handhelds to take a look at. And if it lands within your price range, I would consider it because these things will continue to give you good performance for games going forward. As we are also seeing a lot of the benchmarks for the Z2 Extreme on the newer handhelds are that it just performs better at the lower wattage, but depending on the games that you're playing, you'll be fine with this one. I love it. I'm sad I actually have to send this back. It would be a handle that I would consider myself in the future. But those are just my thoughts. I want to give you a quick overview of the Lenovo Legion Go S Z1 Extreme Windows Edition that in the future, I would recommend installing that full screen experience Xbox, get out of that entire full Windows experience, and that will improve this thing even more. But let me know your thoughts about this, guys. If you enjoy this type of video, please let me know so I can make more of these styles of videos. And let me know if you have one of these or if you have a current handheld and what you think about yours. All of that stuff in the comments would be great. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Thank you.